The flames had barely died down, but the echoes of that night still haunted Amy Fleming. The smoke, the panic, the sight of a terrified horse trapped in the barn, it all played on repeat in her mind. Heartland had faced disasters before, but this one was different. This one cut deep. When Amy ran into the wildfire to save a pregnant mare, she wasn't just rescuing an animal. She was confronting her own instincts, that unshakable drive to help, no matter the risk. It was a moment that reminded everyone who Amy truly is. Brave. Selfless. And sometimes, too willing to sacrifice herself for others. But heroism comes at a cost. As the fire burned, her daughter Lindy watched in fear, realizing for the first time that her mother's courage could also take her away. That moment, a child watching her mother disappear into smoke, would leave an imprint on both of them. Episode 2 begins with the quiet aftermath. The air is still heavy, the sky pale with ash, and Amy is carrying something far heavier than exhaustion, guilt. She keeps seeing Lindy's frightened face. She keeps hearing Ty's voice in the back of her mind, that calm strength she once leaned on. When Lindy picked up that old photo of her parents during the evacuation, it wasn't just nostalgia. It was a silent plea. A reminder that Ty's memory still breathes through their home, through their family, and through every choice Amy makes. Now Amy stands at a crossroads, between holding on and letting go. Between protecting Lindy's fragile heart and allowing her own to heal. Nathan, with his gentle understanding and quiet admiration, complicates that balance. He's been patient. Kind. But even he can sense the walls she's built around herself. Is Amy ready to love again? Or will the fear of betraying Ty's memory keep her trapped in the past? Heartland has never been about easy answers. It's about the messy, beautiful way people learn to live after loss. And in episode 2, that journey deepens. While Amy tries to navigate her own emotions, Nathan begins to face shadows he thought he had buried long ago. On the surface, he appears calm, steady hands, quiet smile, but beneath that, there's tension. The kind that comes from knowing that even love can turn fragile when the past refuses to stay silent. Gracie's words from the premiere still echo in his mind. Who am I to stand in the way of true love? It sounded like approval, but something about the way she said it didn't feel right. Nathan caught that hesitation in her tone, the kind that hides a secret. Now, in episode 2, the audience can feel that unease building. What if Gracie's blessing came with conditions? What if Nathan's past mistakes are about to rise just when things start to feel right with Amy? Heartland has always been gentle in its storytelling, but never simple. There's always a quiet storm brewing beneath the calm. And as Nathan helps Amy and the community rebuild after the wildfire, that storm begins to surface. Each hammer he lifts, each fence he repairs, each glance he shares with Amy, it all carries the weight of two people trying to build something real while the ashes of the past still smolder around them. Lindy, meanwhile, is beginning to see the world differently. She's growing up in a home where strength and softness constantly collide. She loves Nathan, but she doesn't fully understand what he means to her mother. To her, he's both comfort and confusion. And Amy knows it. Every time Lindy looks away when Nathan's around, Amy feels the tug of guilt. She's torn between her daughter's comfort and her own need to move forward. The beauty of Heartland lies in those small, quiet moments, where a conversation over morning coffee can carry more tension than a storm. Episode 2 captures that essence perfectly. The dialogue lingers, the silences speak louder than words, and every look between Amy and Nathan holds a mix of hope and hesitation. But it's not just about love. It's about healing. About what it means to rebuild after everything's been reduced to ash. And while Amy's internal struggle drives the emotional heart of the story, the ranch itself becomes a symbol of recovery. Miley's barn, which once stood proud, now lies in ruins. But even as the smoke clears, the Heartland family refuses to give in. Jack, Tim, Lou, and the community come together, tools in hand, determination in their eyes, to rebuild. Not just wood and nails, but trust, connection, and faith in each other. The fire may have destroyed the barn, but it didn't destroy what makes Heartland, Heartland. As the rebuilding begins, new relationships form, old wounds reopen, and the emotional current that flows through every scene pulls the audience closer. Because here, every story of loss is also a story of renewal. The sun rises over Heartland, casting soft light on the charred fields that once glowed with fire. The ranch is quiet now, but it's a different kind of quiet, the calm that comes after a storm, when everyone is finally breathing again. The smell of smoke still lingers in the air, yet there's something new beneath it. Hope. Amy stands by the half-built barn, her hands tracing the rough wood of the new beams. Every nail, every board, feels like a promise. A promise to start again. But even as she rebuilds, her thoughts drift to Ty. He's gone, yet she still feels his presence everywhere, in the horses, in the wind, in Lindy's eyes. It's that connection that gives her strength. When Nathan approaches, there's a pause. The kind that carries 1,000 unspoken words. He doesn't rush her. He never does. Instead, he simply says, "You don't have to do this alone." That line, simple, quiet, breaks something open in her. For the first time, she allows herself to imagine a future that isn't haunted by the past. She doesn't know where it will lead, but she knows one thing: Ty's memory doesn't fade because she moves forward. It lives through every act of courage, every choice to love again. Meanwhile, Gracie's story begins to unfold. Her cryptic approval of Amy and Nathan wasn't without reason. Rumors begin to surface, hints of a history between her family and Nathan's that could change how everyone sees him. It's not scandalous, but it's complicated, rooted in old loyalties and forgotten promises. The kind of secret that tests trust before it earns forgiveness. As the episode moves deeper into its final act, the pace slows, not with tension, but with tenderness. Heartland doesn't need explosions or betrayals to hold its audience. It holds them with heart. With the quiet sound of hammers rebuilding a barn. With Amy watching Lindy laugh again. With the understanding that love, in all its forms, is what keeps the ranch alive. By the time the sun sets, the barn stands halfway rebuilt, a symbol of everything the people of Heartland stand for. Resilience. Family. Renewal. The fire took much, but it also gave something back: perspective. Amy looks out across the fields and finally allows herself to smile. She knows challenges will come again. Fires will burn, hearts will break, life will test her. But as she watches Lindy run toward her with open arms, she understands the truth that Heartland has always whispered. Every ending leaves something behind. And from every ash, something beautiful begins to grow.